Hiya, this is Paula Jones from the Aspie Coach at theaspiecoach.com and also from Lady Mindset at ladymindset.com. And this is just going to be a quick video about some aspects of living with Asperger syndrome and hypnotherapy. Half of this video is kind of inspired by Dan Jones' hypnosis, who I will link below. Dan Jones is a fellow Aspie, and I've only just found out today actually that he's an Aspie, so that's quite cool. And part of it is through the Wrong Planet forums, and Wrong Planet is a really useful resource for people with Asperger's, and it was really clearing up some thoughts about hypnosis, because it seems that a lot of Aspies are really keen on the idea of hypnosis but think that you can't be hypnotised, and because we're very literal at times think that we just can't be taken into trance. So just want to clear one or two things up really. That trance, I don't think, is one of those things that we really tend to understand that well, and it's really not this you are getting sleepy shit. You know, we don't do that. That's a real, you know, when you see the bad guy in a film, that's what he does if he's the hypnotist. So it's a lot more to it than that. But also hypnosis can be waking hypnosis and not just taking you into a trance. So for myself, I'm very literal. So I'm a hypnotherapist as well, but you know, I'm an Aspie really first and foremost. So I struggle with some elements of hypnotherapy myself, and I remember in my training when we were looking at creating scripts, because it's one of the things that we can sometimes use in hypnotherapy, creating scripts to use with our clients. And I remember one person that I was training with asking me all about my interests and so on, and my special interests. You know, we have those, don't we? Apparently we're not allowed interests if we're Aspies, we have to have special interests. Digressing a bit there. But yeah, being asked about my interests, and those being incorporated into the script that she was going through with me, but because they were out of context for me particularly, she had me sitting on a mountain, on top of a mountain playing my guitar. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would sit at home, play my guitar, might play gigs, play my guitar, but generally speaking, you will not find me on top of a mountain playing my guitar, and at that point, I'm out of trance. That phrase itself, actually, you are now getting in a deeper trance, my head just goes, no, you're not, and I come straight out of it. So I find it quite difficult to relax. I find it quite difficult to get into trance. But if I'm given very direct instructions, you will go into this trance. Okay, I'm quite obedient, so yeah, I'll do that. I'm suggestible, so yes, I'll do it. Not you are now in a deep trance, because I can say no, absolutely no, I'm not. So it's entirely possible for us to be hypnotised, and we are hypnotised several times a day. You know, if you have your Netflix and chill nights, you know, the Netflix portion of that, you're in a fair amount of hypnosis really, because you're sitting absorbing all of this information, and it's this one-way flow of information, and we just sit there with our mouths open and occasionally eating crisps. So there you go, you're in a nice bit of a hypnotic trance. There's elements of that as well if you drive. I know not all Aspies do drive. Again, something I struggle with myself because of depth perception, speed, distance, all that kind of thing. But yeah, if you drive, then you don't always remember how you got from point A to point B in the car, do you? So you were quite off in your own little world for a while. Not saying, by the way, that you weren't taking notice of what you were doing, but you are in your own little hypnotic trance at that point. So yeah, there's loads of ways that we can get past the issues with feeling as though you can't be hypnotised, because hypnosis isn't what it looks like on the telly, and also hypnosis is generally self-hypnosis, and there are loads of techniques that we can do in a kind of waking trance as well. So I sometimes work with children, and getting children to colour in pictures while I talk to them and give them suggestions has them in a fully waking trance, because trying to get a kid to keep still It's impossible. So, they're jumping all over the place and acting out what you ask them to do. So if you want to keep them still and keep them nicely absorbed, then get them to colour in and stuff like that. So it's not all about having to be in a trance. A lot of work that I do is very suggestion based, and it's getting you to do the work. It's getting you to get yourself focused, not necessarily relaxed, but focused. Just in a place where you can start to accept suggestions and you can take on some of the responsibility of being in a trance and having this trance work done. So if you are an Aspie, you can join me at the aspiecoach.com or ladymindset.com. Either of those. It depends on what you're looking for, really. But come join me on either of those pages and have a look and see what sort of hypnotherapy might be useful for you. The other part of this, I mentioned Dan Jones' hypnosis earlier, and I was watching one of his videos, and it was about words just going missing, and you probably have noticed that with me while I'm talking here, because this isn't scripted, this is just an off-the-cuff video, and sometimes I will find that words just completely disappear out of my head. I know that that's quite true of a lot of people, and as we get older, I'm knocking on a bit now, what are you going to do? As we get a bit older, then we do find that we're searching for words quite a lot more than we used to. However, this is something that I've always done, and often have to make up my own words or my own processes or ideas for things until I can get the universally understood word, what it is that I'm searching for. And Dan gave an example of, he was trying to get the word hammer, and came up with hitting stick. That makes perfect sense to me. Hitting stick, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. One that sticks out in my mind fairly recently is having a conversation with my husband about growing peanuts. Can't think why I was having that discussion. I can't remember where I was, but don't know why we're having that discussion. And me referring to them as floor nuts. It's being an Aspie. It's still part of life's rich pattern, but you will find that words can disappear out of your head. However, there are some hypnotic techniques that we can use for that, for remembering that next thing or that next sequence or that next step in the process. So again, all is not lost. So if you are an Aspie, there's a fair chance that you are hypnotizable and that you are suggestible, just not in the ways that most people think of being suggestible. And also, because we have slightly different theory of mind, I think it's good to have somebody that can actually specialise in that and understand you, So Dan Jones is an Aspie hypnotherapist who is going to understand Aspies. I am an Aspie hypnotherapist, and I am an Aspie coach and hypnotherapist, so I understand what you're talking about too. So don't think that you are stuck. If you ever feel that you would benefit from hypnotherapy and hypnosis, don't think that you are ruled out of this. It's just maybe a little bit different, and that's all it is. And it's just ask your therapist to work with you. And that's it. That's the best we can do. You give us the information, we work with you, and it's all good. Okay, so that's it. It's just a little, just off the cuff little video that I wanted to bring over to you. See, words going out my head, completely disappearing. But yeah, contact me if you need help. That's it, bottom line, contact me. So ladymindset.com or aspiecoach.com, and you can contact me there. Okay, speak soon. Bye.